Sex Coach Nikki here, and I just had so much to share, and I wanted to write about it, but it was like I don't really have the time to write, so I want to make this video instead and get it out because it's a lot to digest and it's a lot to share, and I feel like I want to share it because it could help. It really could. So I share these things in order to be helpful and to show you what's going on with my journey. So this is going to be kind of a longish video. If you want to take it in chunks, you can. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel as well, so you can watch it on there in pieces or parts. And my YouTube link is in my bio on my page here on Facebook. So, first of all, this is kind of a big day because it was this day last year that I woke up. It was after Labor Day. I woke up and my right breast was just swollen. It was swollen, and to me, looking down from my point of view, it seemed like it was twice as big as the left one, and that was just like the start of a big process of finding out what was going on, making a decision, what was I going to do, researching, testing, surgery, the whole 9 yards. And to think that that was a year ago, the surgery was 10 months ago, and that's long enough to have had a baby. And so it's like, whew, that's big, you know. And it's like, okay, my body is healing. I'm still recovering in some ways. Like from the surgery, the doctor has told me like the soft tissue has recovered, but there's a lot of other parts of me that are still catching up. And so those are some things I wanted to share about, because it's like when you have a big body change that happens really fast, then your emotions and your energy and other parts of your body have to catch up with it. If you, like I've experienced rapid weight loss. If you've experienced rapid weight loss, you know what I'm talking about, and it's been the same thing for my breasts. And I had some really powerful experiences over the weekend that just really blew my mind. And if you have been following me for any amount of time, you know that I am an advocate for pleasure. I'm an advocate for desire. And mostly because I've had like a struggle with my own in the past. And it's like having desire and then having disappointment, or having a goal and not making it. And you know, like how can I keep pursuing this thing when it's just taking forever? It doesn't seem like it's coming. And something that really occurred to me after my experiences this weekend is that part of the trick for getting the desires, part of manifesting the desires, is holding the desire long enough for it to manifest. And that's been a big aha for me, because I just really I see where there's been many times where I have this desire or I have a goal and I made it way too close in, and then it doesn't come, and then I'm disappointed and I give up and I'm devastated. And I felt that way several times this year, especially with my body, with my breasts, because it's just like after the surgery, first of all, they hurt so bad, and then they looked so bad to me, at least, and I was really afraid of how that was going to impact my work. And for those of you who don't know, in addition to being a sex coach and sex educator, I'm also a sex worker. And I thought, man, my business is just going to really suffer because I don't have big, beautiful boobs anymore. And gosh, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's like I just continued to hold that desire. And one thing I can say is, in my business of bringing people pleasure, I'm well established and I know how to do it. And I just held to my practices. I just held to how it works, how I connect, how I put myself out there, how I explain things to people. And I even raised my prices this year, and I did fine. I did fine through all of this. So now I'm seeing that I need to expand my the amount of time I'm willing to hold the desire, and the amount of time I'm willing to feel all the ups and downs until the desire comes. And then even today, when I had a dip, I had a little disappointment. It's like, that's okay. That's contrast. I now know, like, I need someone to communicate with me that way or this way rather than the other way. So, yeah. And what's been happening with my breasts is that at first, I couldn't even have them bare. Like, it was extremely difficult. And, you know, with clients or lovers, I was distracted by them. Like, a lot of them were like telling me, no, you look okay, da da da. I was fucking distracted. And also, I experienced for the first time body dysmorphia, because it was like a part of me that I really identified with was gone. And that's something that I still struggle with on a different level today. But it's like, okay, here's this part that used to move this way and used to feel this way, and now it's completely and utterly different. Utterly, but it's just like, okay, being with what is, being in the moment, acknowledging the desire, feeling the sensation, and not being hard on myself, and just being like that's been my mantra this year. I'm just getting used to my body the way it is, and that's a lot. Like, you know, when you have a baby, if you're a gal and you have a baby, and it's like, oh, you got to get used to your body, and it takes time. So right now I still feel like I saw somebody today, and as the shirt is coming off, I still was like, yeah, they look weird to me, they look funny to me, but I know that's so. My friend and gosh, I don't even know what to call her, like my teacher, she's my teacher. We're going to be co-teaching some classes coming up in San Diego, and my crush, big crush on her, is Monique Darling. And so one thing that I did in February was I went to this Tantra training. I went to 2 different weeks where I was just immersed, and I was really, it was my first time being, well, no, I had one, I'm trying to think, nope, that was my first time taking off my top in a group setting and being topless or being nude, like in a clothing alternate optional setting, and it was just like really hard, because I just felt so awkward with my body, and I was realizing how much my boobs were just like my security in a way. Like, they were that prop, they were that thing that I could put out there, and And she told me something that has really helped, really helped, is that when I go into an event or a situation like that, you know, my relationship with my breasts is my own. Like, other people are not going to have this complex relationship with my breasts, right? They're just, that they're gonna look, that's how they are, on to the next. Like, they're not gonna give a damn. They're not gonna give a fuck. And I'm really grateful for that reminder, because even though I had a lot of body confidence and a lot of body positivity, I will be honest, I used the fact that I had big breasts to say, well, it's okay if I'm overweight, or it's okay if I look like this or that, because I have these big, beautiful titties. And so, like, losing them is like, how is everything else okay? So, yeah, but everybody else doesn't care, and that's the thing that to keep in mind in all these group experiences, is that usually everyone is so worried about what's going on with them, what their experience is, and it's just like dancing, right? Like, most people are dancing, they're worried about how they look, they're not looking at you to see how you're dancing. So take that to the whole nudist thing, or the swinger thing. Like, most people are much more worried about how they look, their experience, and they're not watching you or worried about you and what's going on with you. After that, I've like done more and more nudist, had more nudist experiences, and it's still hard. It's still hard. So on Sunday, I went to a pool party that was clothing optional, and it was time to get in the pool, and it was just like, all right, time for the top to come off. This is what we're doing now. And it was easier this time than it was a few weeks ago. So every time it gets easier, the more I can appreciate myself and get used to it. A lot of it is really getting used to it. So, and accepting what is as it is. And then some really, really amazing things happened at that party, and that's where I got to see how holding that pleasure all this time is really helping to manifest what I want. I couldn't take off my top, but let alone, have someone touch my breasts or play with my breasts or feel like they are enjoying my breasts. It's been a real big challenge. I had so many stories and beliefs around why people thought that my breasts were attractive. And so when I didn't have the same breasts anymore, then I had to, my child is asking me where I am. When I didn't have the same breasts anymore, I had to evaluate, what that all meant. So, all right, well, I guess my kid is ready for me to pick them up. I will continue this story later. So, oh, they found me. Okay. I'll come back on in a couple hours to finish these stories.